With the recent release of Tracer coins as well as the Rosen Bridge on the Ergo network, there's been plenty of testnets coming online over the course of the last few days. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about a brand new testnet that has just launched on the Cardano network, helping to provide decentralized computing power, as well as some other key updates within the Cardano ecosystem. What is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the latest developments within the Cardano network. First things first, we're going to kick things off with a brief review of the Cardano development report. Now, this is going to be a weekly report developed and released by IOG, highlighting some of the key features and developments that have been completed over the last week. Second, we're going to jump into the NuNET Alpha, which has just been released on the pre-prod testnet, and exactly how you guys can go ahead and get access to this platform that has just launched. Now, in closing of this video, I want to touch on Iagon and their brand new multi-sender feature, which is officially live on the mainnet. If you're not familiar with this, this is going to allow for multiple coins or transactions to be sent all in one go. And then following that, I want to touch on Liqwid, which has recently had an ADA handle integration for increased transparency. And then I want to talk about some activity that we've seen within the MELD Diamond Hand collection and exactly who could be behind all of the recent purchases. That said, let's go and jump straight into today's first topic, which is going to be surrounding the weekly development report. Now, as it states here, we now have 126 projects launched on Cardano, followed by 1,200 builders, over 8 million native tokens, 72,000 token policies, over 7,800 Plutus scripts or smart contracts, with a total of 65 million transactions. In terms of Plutus V2 scripts between this week and last week, we have an adoption of about 20 new Plutus V2 scripts coming online, taking advantage of the Valso hard fork updates. Looking at the left-hand side there, in terms of key highlights, there's ongoing work on the Conway Ledger era, as well as new features being added to Daedalus and the Lace desktop wallet. Now, Lace is going to be a light wallet, whereas the Daedalus wallet is going to be a full node wallet. In closing there, they've now opened the application for global community leaders and groups to run their own Voltaire workshops. Now, on the note of Voltaire, we recently had an SPO call that actually took place earlier today, where we saw the Cardano Foundation begin to roll out some of their testing and guidance surrounding on-chain voting for SPOs or stake pool operators. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be keeping you guys posted there as to what exactly we're going to be challenged or tasked to do with. But we will begin to see on-chain voting coming online very, very soon. The next thing I want to touch on is going to be Cardano's TVL. Now, TVL stands for Total Value Locked if you're not familiar. And over the course of the last few months, you've seen a rotation from the CNFT space over into DeFi. Coming in at number one, we've got the Min Swap protocol. Now, over the course of the past 7 to even 1 month, the TVL has gone down. Over the past, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks, they've seen a slight decline, whereas it was previously at about 60 million ADA, and that has now dropped down to about 51 or 52 million ADA in terms of TVL. Now, while that does seem like a big loss, keep in mind that they do still have a dominance of over 33%. So they're quite well ahead when it comes to their dominance in terms of TVL. At number two, we've got the Indigo protocol, which is going to be a collateralized debt position platform or DeFi protocol on the network. This protocol allows for you to mint IBTC, IETH, and IUSD. Now, these are all going to be synthetic representations of these assets, given the fact that they're not native to Cardano. In terms of TVL, they continue to rise with a 1-month increase of 13%, a 7-day increase of 2%, and a 1-day decrease of a little bit over 0.5%. Now, when we're looking at the big picture here, this protocol has done a really good job of continuing to climb the ranks and basically catch up and overtake the Wing Riders DEX. Coming in at number three, we've got the Wing Riders DEX, which is going to be an AMM style protocol being built on Cardano. Over the last month, they've increased 1%. Over the last 7 days, they've increased 7%. And then over the last 1 day, they've increased 5%. So they're all green here in all three categories. Now they have a TVL of about 18 million. Taking a closer look at number 4, number 5 before we wrap up this particular segment, we've got Liqwid coming in with a TVL of 16 million. So they are right on the heels of the Wing Riders protocol. Now, they're going to be one of the biggest gainers here over the course of the last month, having gained over 84%. In terms of the last 7 days, they've gained over 14. And then over the last day, they've actually lost a little bit over 2%. But again, looking at the big picture, 84% is quite a huge amount to be gaining in terms of TVL. When they initially launched, they were somewhere around $7 million. And that has grown and doubled to a little bit over 16 million. Now, coming in at number 5 before we wrap up this particular segment, we've got the JED protocol. If you guys are not familiar with JED, they're going to be a stable coin which launched on Cardano at the beginning of February. In terms of TVL, they are right behind the Liqwid protocol with $15 million currently locked. And so there's really only about a $250,000 difference between the TVL in JED versus Liqwid. So you could potentially see JED flip Liqwid if they don't continue to add more TVL or liquidity to their protocol. Over the last month, the JED TVL has grown a little bit over 11%. Over the last 7 days, 5%. And then over the last day, it has lost a little bit under 0.5%. So we're looking really strong here. We're continuing to see green across the majority of these protocols. And the really biggest one that has lost here has just been MinSwap. But again, they do hold the majority of the TVL. If I scroll back up here in terms of the ADA valuation, we're now sitting at over 362 million ADA tokens currently locked into the ecosystem. If we translate that over into US dollars, that's currently at about $155 million, which puts us back at around the same exact TVL value that we saw around the May timeline in 2022. So we're looking pretty positive and pretty solid there in terms of TVL. Now, that is going to take us through the very first bits of news here surrounding Cardano and the recent developments in the ecosystem. Next, I want to talk to you guys about a brand new alpha, which has just been released by the NuNET protocol, which is going to be a platform providing globally distributed computing power all across the ecosystem. So let me go ahead and share my screen here with you guys. And as it states here, the NuNET public alpha has officially been released. So it states NuNET is excited to share that we will launch our testnet on Friday, April 28th. We have created this blog to provide some clarity on the functionalities of the testnet public alpha with our decentralized machine learning use case. Now, what I want to touch on is going to be some of the key highlights here. And before we actually do that, I want to show you guys a picture of the dashboard for the NuNET protocol. So I mentioned before that NuNET, including Cogito, which is a protocol that I covered on in my prior Cardano Scoop updates, are going to be two protocols which are currently existing inside of the AGIX or the Singularity Net ecosystem. Now, if you're not familiar with AGIX or Singularity Net, they're going to be an AI marketplace providing machine learning tools in a decentralized machine learning ecosystem. Over the course of the next few weeks, I will be providing more coverage on the AGIX marketplace. Now, jumping back into the NuNET stats dashboard that we're viewing here, let me get myself out of the way. I want to briefly touch on exactly what we're looking at. So this is going to be a dashboard for, I believe, a person actually running the NuNET protocol. Now, as a NuNET protocol user, there's going to be two different roles, which I'm going to touch on here in just a minute. The first role is going to be a service provider, while the second role is going to be a compute provider. So I believe that this is going to be a compute provider's dashboard here, but again, I'll have to double check. But either way, at the top left-hand corner, we can see the total processes currently being run, or the total number of processes, whereas we can see the total number of processes being run right next to that, with the total number of successful processes that have been run so far. Now, to the right of that, we can actually see how much of the NTX token has been paid out to this particular compute provider. Keep in mind that if you're going to be a part of the NuNET protocol or the NuNET network, you'll be getting paid out directly in the NTX token, which is going to be the NuNET governance token for the protocol. We can then quickly also see the available number of provider devices, which right now in this screenshot sits at about 243. And then we've got some updates here or some stats here surrounding the CPU, the RAM, the network, and the time that it's taking for all of these different platforms or globally distributed devices to communicate. To the right of that, we can see exactly how much CPU is available versus how much is used, how much RAM is available versus how much is used, and then the very same thing for the network and the time. So now that we've kind of got a better understanding of some of the key aspects here contained within the NuNET dashboard, I want to break down some of the recent articles surrounding their testnet. So this is going to be on their official Medium page here, and this was an article released by Jennifer Bork. So what I want to touch on is going to be exactly what people can expect in terms of the rollout of the alpha on the testnet, the mainnet, and then we're going to touch on their beta as well. So it states, NuNET is excited to announce that on April 28th at 1 p.m. UTC, NuNET will release their public alpha testnet to the community. Now they're going to be launching multiple testing campaigns to test individual components with their community, and they'll be rewarding testers for their participation. So this does look like it's going to be an incentivized testnet. And if you're looking to earn the NuNET tokens on the mainnet, you can go ahead and get set up either as a service provider or a compute provider, which I'm going to break down the differences between those two roles here in just a minute. In regards to the NuNET testnet launch, we have the following. So their primary focus is going to be to secure or to provide a secure and robust platform, which they plan on reaching with the help of the community and their auditors. Specifically with this testnet release, they aim on building their documentation site and developing their tools pipeline in order to enable community testers to contribute the most that they can to the public alpha on the mainnet. So right now they're on the testnet and they're going to be following up here with their alpha on the mainnet. If I blow this up here, we're going to take a closer look to see exactly how they plan on doing this. So again, let me get myself out of the way. And right now we're at the top left-hand corner here. We just had the public alpha testnet, and this states that this is going to be the earliest stage of testing where the software is still in its development stage and has limited functionality. Now, in terms of the community involvement, they're going to be looking for a limited number of community members to be involved in providing testing and feedback. After that, they're going to be launching on the public alpha mainnet. And again, this is going to be a stage of testing where the software is mostly functional and is released to a larger audience for further testing and feedback. Now, keep in mind that once they launch on the public alpha mainnet, you will be able to earn the NTX token by being either a service provider or a compute provider. Now, following the public alpha mainnet, they're going to be focusing on the public beta. And so this is going to be a stage of testing where the software is considered close to final, but may still have some minor bugs or other pending improvements or issues that need to be addressed. Now, in closing, I want to touch on the final release. So the final release is going to be the final version of the software that is considered stable and ready for widespread use. Again, if you guys are looking to get access to this platform, you can head over to their official website, which I will leave a link to down in the description. So if I jump back out here, we've already touched on their scheduling and exactly what we can expect. I want to touch on exactly what a service provider is versus a compute provider. So it states here in NuNET, the term service provider refers to an individual or group that wants to provision compute jobs on NuNET's decentralized community hardware. It can be an application developer, or an independent use case developer, which provides access to the global public or the general public to use its services that uses NuNET as an infrastructure to support its compute requirements. Now, right below that, we've got the compute provider, which is going to refer to an individual who has onboarded their device on the NuNET platform in order to provide its computing services or computing power. So I think more people will fall within the compute provider section here, whereas bigger groups or maybe more technical folks may set up to become a service provider, therefore kind of lending out all of the compute providers that they manage to certain applications or teams that may need those resources. Now, if you guys want more information surrounding being a service provider as well as a compute provider, I will leave the link to their article, which was just released down below. And that's going to walk you guys through both of the processes in terms of setting this up on your Windows or Linux machines. So that is going to wrap it up there for our first two topics or stories here for today's Cardano Scoop. First, we've touched on the Cardano weekly development report and the TVL, followed by the NuNET alpha testnet. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate it if you guys could tap that like button. It helps to get this content out to other members within the Cardano community, and it's also one of the easiest ways here to support the channel. Additionally, I am a single stake pool operator operating the official Dapp Central stake pool. And if you guys want to support me here on my mission to educate the broader Cardano community, then consider delegating with the stake pool ticker DAPP. The next story I want to jump into is going to be surrounding Iagon and a brand new feature which they've just released on the mainnet. Now, this is going to be none other than their multi-sender app. And so as we can see here from their official Twitter, the Iagon multi-sender Dapp has officially arrived on the Cardano mainnet. The first bulk sender on Cardano with wallet connections is now live. You can use this platform to send up to 30 different addresses at once, and this is going to support the ADA or Cardano governance token, as well as the Iagon token, which is going to be the governance token for the Iagon protocol. If you're not familiar with Iagon, they're going to be a decentralized storage protocol, kind of operating in a similar space as we just saw with NuNET. However, instead of providing your computing power with Iagon, you're going to be providing your computing storage. So if you got a physical device or hardware device that has storage that is available, you can either lend that out, or if you're providing, or if you're looking, to use storage, you can use the Iagon protocol to basically pay for cheaper storage than you would with bigger names like Amazon or Google. Now, I walked through this process already before, but if you guys head over to their official website, it's a pretty simple process where you can basically connect your wallet to their Dapp. Once you connect your wallet to the Dapp, all you need to do then is go ahead and actually select what token you want to send, and then you can actually upload a CSV file, which will actually allow for you to dictate what addresses you want to send your funds to. So let me go ahead and connect my wallet here, and it's going to take me straight into their application. And then we've got the multi-sender Dapp here. Now, once the actual Dapp is loaded, as you guys can see here, you can select what token you want to send. Right now, they support Iagon and ADA, which, as I mentioned before, is going to be their governance token. And then obviously ADA is going to be one of the most traded tokens here within the ecosystem, given that it's the governing token for the actual network. Now, after that, you can manually enter using a CSV format or a comma delimited format, the address that you want to send your tokens to. Again, keep in mind that there's going to be a maximum total amount of 30 different addresses. But alternatively, if you don't want to manually type them in and you've already got them stored in a CSV file, you can use this upload option here, which will allow for you to upload a file from your desktop. Once you do that, you click on continue, confirm the transaction, and then you can actually go ahead and send all of the different assets that you selected here, or the assets you selected here, to the 30 different addresses. That is going to do it there for that particular update surrounding Iagon. We're now coming to the second to last update here that I want to cover, which is going to be surrounding the Liqwid protocol. Now, Liqwid, as we just saw there, is going to be number 4, I believe, in terms of TVL on Cardano right now, and they launched as well in early February. So they're kind of getting their feet under themselves, and they've been doing a pretty good job here of being transparent in terms of updates with the community. Now, we've also seen the first 2 sets of rewards go out. We saw the first set of rewards, which was for February, and then we saw the second set of rewards go out for March. If you're providing liquidity to the LQ protocol, or if you're borrowing liquidity from the protocol. So either way you slice it, as long as you're interacting with the LQ platform, you will be earning rewards. Now, what I want to touch on here is going to be the fact that as a part of increasing transparency and visibility with the Cardano community, they're now going to be utilizing ADA handles for each of their LQ token allocations. Now, it's going to be my personal take here that I think that this is going to be the norm moving forward. We're going to see more protocols really rolling out the integration of ADA handles. Now, I'm going to actually be following up here with a second video touching on the fact that the ADA handle team has just updated the roadmap as well. If you're not familiar with ADA handles, they're going to be a NFT powered naming solution being built on Cardano that simplifies the process of sending and receiving ADA as well as any other tokens. So it says here the LQ token allocations will each receive a unique ADA handle. This is going to be part of our ongoing effort to increase the transparency of the protocol. We'll also be releasing APIs for tracking the circulating supply in the near future. So as an example here, and I'm going to jump over to another tab just to kind of show you guys, we have the Liqwid DAO Treasury, which is now going to be utilizing the liquid.treasury ADA handle, and they've got the address listed down below. If we scroll down here, we can see the LQ token allocation, which we would expect to see within these wallets. So as an example, we're going to take a look at the DAO treasury here, which is going to be Liqwid.treasury, which should have 16% of the supply, or about 3.36 million of the LQ token. So if I jump over to Pool PM, which you guys can access by literally going to pool.pm, you can quickly search using ADA handles. And so I've typed in $Liqwid.treasury, and we can confirm here that they do currently hold 3.36 million, as we would expect within this particular wallet. So a huge step here when it comes to transparency. And again, I'm hoping to see this being adopted by multiple protocols in the near future. Now, the very last story I want to touch on is going to be the MELD protocol. Now, MELD has recently seen some increased activity when it comes to their Diamond Hand NFT. If you guys are not aware, MELD is going to be launching on the Avalanche subnet as their own L1, and they're also going to be launching their own MELD app over the course of the next week, specifically on May 3rd. If I jump into jpeg.store, I just want to kind of break down the two NFTs that we're expecting for the MELD platform. So the first, which is already available, is going to be the Diamond Hand NFT, which will provide users with early access to the crypto to fiat portion of the protocol. And so if you're not familiar with that, MELD's goal is to provide the people the ability to basically take out fiat loans using their crypto as collateral. So once that rolls out, which should hopefully be as a part of either Q3 or Q4 of this year, the Diamond Hand holders will get early access to that platform, and they're also going to get feeless banking when it comes to the MELD debit card. So they're not going to have to pay any fees when using the MELD debit card. In closing, the MELD team has reserved their rights to add additional utility for this particular NFT, and there's going to be a fully dedicated article, which I'll leave a link to down below, that you guys can go ahead and check out if you guys want to find out more about the utility of the Diamond Hand NFT. Now, the second NFT collection is going to be the bank managers, which we're currently expecting to launch within the next few weeks. So stay tuned on that. I'm going to have a fully dedicated video breaking that down as well once that is released in collaboration with the Freeloaders team for their minting and claiming portal. Now, the actual update that I want to share here with you guys is going to be the fact that we have now seen some increased activity here when it comes to the Diamond Hand collection. So right now, the floor price currently sits at about 980 ADA, but earlier today it's set at about 800 ADA. So almost a 200 ADA increase. And if we scroll down just a little bit here, what you're going to notice is that we now have an address that has literally swept the floor in the last 15 hours. So as you guys can see there, the address ending in CMRQ4 has picked up about 8 of these Diamond Hand NFTs. And upon doing a little bit more investigation, right, by just clicking on the address here, we can now see that the ADA handle is tied to MELD.team. So on the heels of the announcement that I just made there surrounding transparency by the LQ team, we're now seeing a similar adoption of ADA handles by the MELD team. Now, if I jump over into pool.pm again and take a look at the exact same wallet holding the MELD team ADA handle, we see that they also hold MELD Bank, MELD Ecosystem, MELD Incentives, MELD ISPO, MELD Marketing, MELD Team, and MELD Treasury. Now, they've got a few more here, which are kind of duplicates of some of the other ones that I've already highlighted. But again, it looks like they're going to be applying a similar feature that we just seen with the adoption of ADA handles by the LQ team. We also see that they've got quite a bit of the MELD token here in this wallet, and they've now picked up 8 of these MELD Diamond Hand NFTs. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys to kind of speculate on exactly what we can expect here from the MELD team, given the fact that they've just swept the floors here for the Diamond Hand NFTs. They have stated that they will be releasing some interesting announcements here as a part of their keynote speech, which will be done by Ken Oling, or the founder of the MELD protocol, at the Avalanche Summit on May 3rd. And following that, they're going to be hosting the MELD Nitro Party, which will be an exclusive party here taking place in Barcelona. That is going to do it here for today's Cardano Scoop, in which we've talked about the weekly Cardano development report and the growing TVL within this particular network, as well as the NuNET Alpha and the Iagon multi-sender Dapp, the Liqwid ADA handle integration, as well as some recent activity here in speculation surrounding the MELD Diamond Hand NFTs. If you guys found today's update to be helpful or insightful, again, I would really appreciate it if you guys could tap that like button. It helps to get this content out to members within the Cardano community. If it's your first time stumbling by the channel, and you want more content just like this, consider subscribing. And then if you guys have any questions for me surrounding anything that we've touched on today or Cardano in general, then make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.